one part of you trending monetary history a little bit that I thought was phrased in a way I hadn't heard before was this velocity mismatch between commerce and forms of money, and then maybe how Bitcoin rectifies that mismatch. Can you pull on that thread here briefly?
Sure. I think that's a difference I have with some people in the space, both kind of just different sound money groups, whether it's gold bugs or Bitcoiners. They often describe fiat as like a moral failing. Like if only we had stayed on the gold standard, or if only we had stuck with sound money. Whereas my view was, when you look at a world with 200 different countries, and every single one of them is off the gold standard, and every single one of them has this decaying like fiat centralized ledger, you're like, well, how did we get to this point? Clearly something went wrong, that was more than just a moral failing. And the way I describe it is it was in some ways a technological inevitability, just because of the order that technology developed. So basically, for thousands of years, commerce and money moved at the same speed, right? A gold coin or even like a banknote could only physically move at the speed of walking, horses, ships, whatever. And so you had all these just bare assets moving around. And even with the invention of ledgers and stuff like that, the ledgers still can't physically move faster than those things. And in the 1800s, when you invented telecommunication systems, right? So you could update ledgers globally, and so global commerce could start to happen.
Right.
You've radically increased the speed of commerce, while the speed of settlement with bare assets is still much, much slower. And so that opens all sorts of arbitrage. It gives way more power to centralized policymakers to, basically mess with the ledger, for example. And it's a temptation that is like, it's there, and like everybody takes it, because even if you're the one that doesn't take it, probably someone's going to use the fact that you didn't take it against you.
Exactly.
And so it kind of just spreads like a virus. And so the only alternative to these systems, you have all these different fiat currency systems, and you have an alternative, which is gold, but gold can't move around as fast. So it can solve the savings problem part for some people, but it can't really fix the payments problem. And it just kind of fully can't keep up. And so what I find interesting about Bitcoin is that it's the first solution that really is a serious attempt at solving this mismatch, and says, okay, so here's a bare asset hard money that also moves around at the same speed of telecommunications. And that it basically that payments can now happen as fast as global commerce can, and that can be final settled, depending on how you want to define it, within seconds, minutes, hours, rather than what is the cost and time of settling with gold, let alone even fiat has kind of slow settlement times. And so I think that really the reason we're in this world of 180 different fiat jurisdictions is because we've had a technological problem that has remained unsolved for over a century that is now arguably solved.